Friends, today's problem is implement an algorithm to determine if a string has all unique characters. That means we need to figure out none of the character will be repeating or duplicate. That means all the characters should have occurrence as only one. Let's consider the input string as BCAD. For simplicity, we have taken input as in character array. Uh, if we consider this array contains BCAD, all the characters are unique because B exists in this array only once, C exists only once, A also exists once, and D also exists once. That means in this case it should return true, otherwise it should return false. Let's just if we add A here, in this case B exists only once, C one exists once, A exists two times. One is at this second position because array starts with zeroth index, first index, second index. So uh, A exists at second index and A exists at fourth index. That means this string or this array doesn't contain all the unique characters. It has one character which is repeating. Similarly, it can have multiple characters which will be repeating. Now we need to write the method for that. So how we can check? First a thing comes in our mind is we need to compare character by character. That means if the array contains this B, C, A, D, A, then first we need to compare B with the remaining element of the array. That means first we need to compare B with C, then B with A, then B with D, and then B with A. Similarly, again we need to compare C with remaining element of the array, that is C with A, then C with D, then C with A. Similarly, we need to compare A with the remaining element of the array, that is right side element of the array. And one thought is that why we are not comparing with the left side element. When we're let's think about that while comparing with B. If we start or we'll say one will be matching character and the second will be remaining element of the array. So in this case we are comparing B with C, A, D, A, because B doesn't have any element at the left side. Now when we come for comparison with the next matching character, that is C, it has left character as B. If we compare C with B, it is redundant because already before that, when the matching character was B, we have compared B with C. So if B is not equal to C, that means C is also not equal to B. So uh, unnecessarily we are adding additional uh, loop. To avoid that, we'll always think that we'll compare with the right side element because the left side element comparison has been already taken care by the previous loop, or when the matching character was previous one, that time it has been already taken care. And okay, so at worst case, what will the time complexity? That big O notation tells about the worst case situation scenarios. At the worst case, we'll end up comparing all the elements. So let's find out how the time complexity will be calculated. So when the matching character is B, we are comparing with C, then A, then D, again A with A. That means 4 times. We are comparing 4 times. So let's write that time complexity. For one loop executed for 4 times. Then again, uh, we found that B is not matching with any of the uh, characters of array. So then again we need to compare C with the remaining elements A, D, A. So time complexity will be, means loop will be executed for A, again it will execute for D, and for A. So that means this time it is for 3 times. And let's assume that all the characters are unique. Here we can say it's a, let's take, it's not A, it's X. In that case, then the matching character became A, and we need to compare with D, and again compare A, that matching character is A, so compare with X. That means we are comparing 2, means the loop executed for 2 times, and then the matching character became A, and we will compare with D with X, nothing else. So 1, and then we will not increase the matching character because there is nothing at the right side. If we increase the matching character to X and there is nothing at the right side, it's not required, means we cannot compare because there is nothing in the array to compare. That's why uh, we can compare till this position. So time complexity became 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. And what is the length of the array? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our length is 5, and this sequence, this tells, we can say it is written like 1 plus 2 plus plus this 4 is nothing but length minus 1, na? Because length is 5 and maximum entry is 4. So this will be n minus 1, and the addition of 1 to n, or 1 to n minus 1 element, that value will be n into n minus 1 divided by 2. This is a mathematical formula. So time complexity is n into n minus 1 by 2. So here when we are saying that we have 5 elements, in this case, if we see here, our execution was 4 plus 3 7 plus 2 9 plus 1 10, and the formula also tells the same thing, that let's say it's 5 into 5 minus 1, that means 4 divided by 2, which is 10. So for array of size 5, the loop executed, or the time complexity, is order of n into n minus 1 by 2, which is nearly, or which is equivalent to order of n square. It's better than order of n square ideally, but the notation, we are saying that the complexity increase along the increase of the count of the array or increase of input. If we say we have 1000 of element, in that case the loop will continue or execute for 1000 into 1000 minus 1 is 999 divided by 2, that times. And what is the space complexity? if we take some additional space and that space doesn't change with respect to change in input element, then it can be considered as constant. And here in this case we have not taken any space. We'll say let's say space complexity is 1, order of 1, or let's say is constant. Now let's analyze how to write that code. As we found that here two things. One is two variables or two things change. One is matching character change. We started taking this B as matching character, then we take C as matching character, then A, D, like this we proceeded. Similarly, we can say one variable or one thing change factor. Let's say change factor is matching character, and also we are changing the array, that comparison with array. When we have taken B as our matching character, our comparison array was CADX, and when we have taken C as matching character, our comparison was against ADX. So we can say array. So we need two for loop. One will be to change this matching character or to increase this matching character index, and the second will be to decrease the input array. With for B, the input or the array comparison was 4, the length was 4. For C, array length was 3, then 2, then 1. That means and also we need to compare each and every element of the array. So there will be one more loop which will traverse us so the all the elements or the remaining elements of the array. So we can say this is one loop will be required. Another will be traversal of the array. So this will be second loop, and we'll consider this matching character as our output or outer loop, and this traversal of the array will be our inner loop. And what other comparison we have taken here? Not We found that we can or we'll start comparing, or when we have taken B as in character, we have started comparing from C, and when we have taken C as matching character, so our array start index or the matching character started with A. That means B was the 0th index and C is the first index. So when matching character was 0 index, our array traversal starts with 1 index or first index. Similarly, when matching character was first index, our array traversal started from second index. So here we found the start index of inner array equal to start index, or the we can say index of matching character plus 1. And what else we found? We found that will continue or will increase the matching character till d, because we can compare d with x, but after that we will not take x as a matching character because there is nothing at the right side. So that means end index of outer array, or matching character is known as, we are saying that, sorry, outer loop. This is inner loop, similarly outer loop. End index of the will be -1, with x, if x is at the last position we are trying to traverse, so it will be -1. So last element -1. Now let's write that method, and it returns true or false. If it has all unique characters, then it will return true. If it has any single character which is, or more than one character is repeating, then it will return false. So we'll take it as our boolean. In output is boolean, and uh, we have, for simplicity or to access by the class name, we can assume the method as static. So private static, say boolean execute, and it takes the same input. Let's write that here. Okay, and by default, or it will be true, because we have assumed that if nothing match, then return it says true, so we will return true first. That means this character array is unique. Now let's write the loop. Length, what is the length of the array? Input dot length. So for, let's first write outer array, and what is the start index? Index of outer array is at 0th position, because we are considering b. So I equal to 0, and now what is the end index? It will be last element -1. So I less than length -1, I plus plus. This is the outer element. Now outer loop. Now we need to write inner loop. So okay, for inner loop we found this is the condition, or this is the relationship. So start index, let's say it's the index starts with j. It is the relation is index of matching character plus 1. That means its index of matching character is I, that I plus 1. Similarly j less than length j plus plus. Now we need to compare with this inner loop is for a traversal in the array, and this outer loop is for matching character. So we need to compare the matching character with element of the array. So if input of I equals to j, then return false. Okay, so Now let's execute this method. Input, in this case we'll boolean result. Let's print out the result. And yeah, this is for this loop, this for loop will traverse for the array, we can say traversal of array, and this outer is for changing the matching character, changing the matching character, and this input of I is matching character, and this input of j is the character in the array. Now let's execute. It returns true. Similarly, let's change it. Change the last index to a. In this case, ideally it should return false, because the character array string have one element, that is a, which is repeated. A is at this position and also at the last position. So let's run it. Yes, it executed. And also we figure out the time complexity is order of n into n minus 1 by 2. To verify that, you can just write system print here, or any counter here. Here you can put any counter, and just count that how many times it executed. It will execute at the worst case when there is no matching character. In that case, it will run for n into n minus 1 divided by 2 times. That means it will the time complexity is order of n square, and we have not taken any additional space here. We are saying that length we have taken, but if we go for 1000 elements in the array, the variable is only one. It's not increasing with our input change, but our time complexity is increasing. In our next video, we'll learn how we can optimize this. Thank you.